Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session of Saturday Talk by JanyuTechnologies. Today we have Dr. Chaitanya Giri. A brief introduction of Chaitanya Ji, though is addressing in this session series for the fourth time, I think, for the new members. Dr. Chaitanya Giri is a fellow at ORF Center for Security, Strategy and Technology. His work focuses on India's space ecosystem and its interlinkages with the global space economy, academia, industry innovation, and training interface for emerging STEM domains, and the evolving concepts of planetary security and One Health. Today, he's going to speak on the topic nuclear reactors on the moon. Chaitanya ji, over to you from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rajesh ji, Abhimanyu ji, Bhushan, for inviting me again for your very successful Saturday Talk series. I have seen the Saturday Talk series grow from strength to strength, and without fail, I every week get an invite to attend the really vast array of talented people that you invite and enrich all of us with the talks that they give. So I'm really privileged that you've invited me again. And today, as the topic goes, nuclear reactors on the moon. Now, you would think that this is a far-fetched possibility, that nuclear reactors are many, many years away. We still have to lay the base of human presence on the moon. We have to justify why are we doing that. That justification has not yet emerged in India as of now. Although the government in the last 10 years or so has been very, very bullish. I remember, or you all must be also remembering a time when whenever ISRO used to launch a space mission, there used to be a lobby of so-called socialist leftist people who used to cry like anything. And they used to sort of lay across the table a counter argument that India is a poor country, it should not go into outer space. India is a poor country, it should first eliminate poverty, it should first provide toilets to the people of India, and then attempt something like this. And the government of that era used to fall for such, diatribe. But luckily, since this government has come in its past 10 years, the third one is going on right now. It has ensured that the lament for not having toilets in India is solved completely. So by promoting the Swachh Bharat Yojana, the government has taken care of that aspect, which was languishing for good 75 years. It should have been solved much earlier, but it was languishing, and that was one of the reasons why the space program was being pulled down. Luckily for us as a country, the kind of progress that our space program has made, especially in the past 8 or 9 years, is something that is going to help us in a very, very long time. Now, coming to the topic of today, I'm not going to regurgitate history of ISRO and everything, that is very well known. But I'll straightforward come to why I chose this topic on this occasion. I got a message from Bhushan on Tuesday, I guess, and I was thinking, what should I speak on? And then I thought that let me speak on something which is very timely. And one very timely statement that came a few weeks ago, which made news, but there was no analysis on it. And that news was that Russia publicly stated that it is inviting India and China to join them in building a nuclear reactor on the moon. That announcement happened at a very special occasion. That special occasion was the 2024 Eastern Economic Forum, which the Russian government organizes very frequently in Vladivostok, the big city on the eastern coast of Russia, on the Pacific coast of Russia. And this statement was made by none other than Alexei Likhachev. ये जो Alexei Likhachev है, he's the general director of Rosatom, which is Russia's premier nuclear commercialization entity. And this is what he had to say. He said, and I'm quoting him, the new solution that we are being asked to implement is a version of a nuclear power plant with an energy capacity of up to 0.5 megawatt. By the way, with the involvement of the international community, our Chinese and Indian partners are very interested in this. We are trying to lay the foundation for several international space projects. Quote close. Now, somebody who's a high-ranking official of the Russian government, and Rosatom is no small agency. Rosatom at this point in time is a symbol of Russia's high-tech exports to the world. And a statement coming from him where he says that the Indian and Chinese partners have shown interest. So it seems that the Indian and Chinese partners in their respective communications with the Russians have said that, look, we are interested in what you are trying to do here. यहाँ पे इट इज ऑल्सो इम्पॉर्टेंट टू नो दैट रशिया एक अनथिंकेबल चीज करना चाहता है, टू गेट इंडिया एंड चाइना टुगेदर ऑन द सेम न्यूक्लियर प्रोजेक्ट. हमने कभी चाइना के साथ न्यूक्लियर प्रोजेक्ट पे काम नहीं किया है. द फर्स्ट थ्रेट परसेप्शन दैट इंडिया डेवलप्ड in Asia regarding nuclear proliferation was not against Pakistan but was against China, because immediately after the 1962 war, China had a slew of nearly 18 nuclear tests in a span of good 5 years. So 64 से लेके 69 तक चाइना ने हर प्रकार का न्यूक्लियर टेस्ट करके रखा था, be it underground nuclear test, surface test, test on balloons, test on high altitudes, everything. So having developed our entire nuclear program with a threat perception for China before the non-proliferation treaties and all those comprehensive test ban treaties and the nuclear controls came into play, India has had a very varied relation with China. तो यहाँ पे ये दो कंट्रीज को लाने की कोशिश हो रही है. ये क्यों हो रही है? इसका कारण सिर्फ एक ही है, that Russia, before joining hands with China on going to the moon, was actually extending a peace pact with the West, with the Americans. करीबन 2016 तक Russia was extending a hand of friendship to the Americans, telling them that, look, let's bring a thaw in animosity. And the best way to bring a thaw in the animosity is initiate a new space project, because we've had a history of it. 1970s में both the countries came together through the Apollo-Soyuz program, जहाँ पे it sort of created a detente. उसके बाद in the early 2000s or late 1990s, again Russia and United States joined hands with the International Space Station, which is again a very successful project right now. And that successful collaboration between two partners who really don't see eye to eye on many matters should continue to the moon, so that there is peace in the world, at least between two blocks which have internal forces riling against each other. तो ये रशियन प्रपोजल को अमेरिका ने ज्यादा दाद दी नहीं, and eventually it happened so that Chinese invited the Russians, and the Russians had to join hands with them in 2021, and it is where we are now. So the Russians were reluctant to go with the Chinese, but they are now partners of the Chinese. और एक चीज ध्यान में आती है that Russians are even today, despite being signatory partners with the Chinese, are not very comfortable working with them. ये कैसे पता चलता है कि इन्होंने इंडिया को टीम में लाने की बात की है in a location which is called as Vladivostok. Now Vladivostok is a city in the Russian Far East जो चाइना क्लेम करता है as its own territory, as its own city. Now trying to bring India into a mega project from a city which the Chinese claim for themselves. हाल फिलहाल में उन्होंने वो claim नहीं किया है, लेकिन during the pandemic, when the Chinese were attacking us in Galwan, there were statements coming from Beijing that Vladivostok is theirs. Now that has not gone well with the Russians also. But as they say, उनका हाथ पत्थर के नीचे है. So it is what it is. Now by bringing the Indians on board, the Russians are again hedging their bets. They are wanting a partner which is more reliable, so that the Chinese are checkmated in this entire international lunar research station project. हमने भी कुछ वहाँ पे दांव खेला है. I'll talk about that. But the Russians are also not very happy with their own performances, and they're not happy with the success that China is achieving with the international lunar research station. तो इंटरनेशनल लूनर स्टेशन के जो इनिशियल 4 मिशन होने वाले थे, उसमें से 2 चाइनीज थे, चांगा 4 और चांगा 6, और 2 रशियन थे, which was लूना 25 and लूना 26. तो उसमें से चांगा 4 और चांगा 6 आर सक्सेसफुल. They've successfully launched. They sort of landed on the moon. They picked up samples. They got them back. And the Chinese are very much gung-ho about it, that they've shown it. Chandrayaan 3 से थोड़े दिन पहले Luna 25 को launch किया गया था, and Luna 25 failed miserably. It reached the moon orbit, the lunar orbit, but it crash landed on the moon. उसका कहीं तो भी आघात, उसका कहीं तो भी सदमा लगा है रशियंस को, because they are 1 point down. So now they have to ensure that Luna 26 becomes a really successful mission. तबीयत खराब करने के लिए और चाइनीज ने क्या किया कि पिछला जो मिशन था चांगर 6, उसको जब हाल फिलहाल में लॉन्च किया गया था, in that along with their own core spacecraft, the Chinese carried a Pakistani spacecraft called iCube Qamar, 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 the Pakistani name Qamar. तो ये पाकिस्तानी नैनो सैटेलाइट था जो पाकिस्तानी स्पेस एजेंसी सुपारको और रावलपिंडी के जो स्ट्रेटेजिक फोर्सेस डिवीजन है उनका स्ट्रेटेजिक प्लान्स डिवीजन उन्होंने बनाया था, which is the military intelligence arm of पाकिस्तानी मिलिट्री. तो इन्होंने मिलके बनाया था. And what that has done is that has sort of created a concern in the Russian mind that ये चाइनीज खुद भी सक्सेसफुल हो रहे हैं और इंटरनेशनल लूनार रिसर्च स्टेशन पे पाकिस्तानियों को और अपने जूनियर पार्टनर्स को भी ला रहे हैं, and ensuring that they also get success. Now, in all this chessboard play, what has happened is another big development which Chinese sort of created in their own favor was that the headquarters of this International Lunar Research Station organization, so which is the core body administering this entire mega project, इसके हेडक्वार्टर को हेफे में बनाया, चाइना में बनाया. यहाँ पे उन्होंने चाइनीज ने किसी को पूछा नहीं कि इसका हेडक्वार्टर कहाँ बनना चाहिए. शुड इट बी इन अ न्यूट्रल कंट्री, शुड इट बी इन अ थर्ड कंट्री, उसके ऊपर कोई विचार विमर्श चाइना ने किया. एंड दिस हैज नॉट बीन अ प्लेजेंट एक्सपीरियंस. सो सिंस द अनाउंसमेंट ऑफ ILRS, the Russians have had a really lukewarm treatment meted to them from the Chinese. And इसके लिए I believe Russians are wanting us to come on board. क्या हम join कर रहे हैं वो ILRS? No, I don't think so. We are not joining them. Because जहाँ पे पाकिस्तानी हैं और जहाँ पे Chinese है, where they are together, India is not going to join that kind of a whatever multilateral or plurilateral mega project. Will because we have obligations. ये जो 3 working groups है, the working group on nuclear medicine, the working group on astronomy, and the working group on mega sciences, these are what I believe the building blocks of the BRICS space exploration consortium. Because if you are planning to set a nuclear reactor on the moon, you need to have knowledge of impact of a nuclear source or impact of radiation on human body, which the nuclear forum, medicine forum will do. Setting up a nuclear reactor on the moon itself is a mega project. So it fits well into this, the third working group. And the second working group may play a good role. The first working group, the astronomy working group, may play a very big role in ensuring that the nuclear reactor is safely placed on the moon so that it does not face any damages coming in from solar radiation. It does not face any damages coming in from a meteorite strike on the moon, anything like that. So all the situational awareness to ensure the safety of that lunar reactor can be placed in charge of the BRICS astronomy working group. तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि rather than India joining the space exploration group of Russia and China, where Russia itself is not very happy, India will try to bring it into BRICS and then assume the leadership of entire BRICS when it comes to space projects. इससे होगा ये कि जो चाइना लेड ILRS है ये अपने आप खत्म हो जाएगा. And BRICS is a more formal platform. It is a more recognized platform. China is wanting to do exactly what the United States has been doing, get in junior partners and boss around with them. Perhaps with India bringing this entire project into BRICS, it may be the case that India will make everybody an equitable stakeholder of this mega project. And when it comes to setting up a nuclear reactor anywhere, you need to ensure confidence building measures. So ये जो nuclear project है, it's not limited to the BRICS member countries or to the ILRS member countries or to the Artemis member countries. You have to take into account that the moon, even today and in the foreseeable future, is a global commons. It's a global common. It's a common heritage of humankind. And in that case, you need to ensure that there are as many countries possible who are giving a thumbs up for that kind of project, and it helps them indirectly, even to those countries which are not participating directly into it. And on top of that, you need clearances from the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA. So agar IAEA ka aapko clearances chahiye, you need to be more pragmatic, you need to be more diplomatic in your approach. And I, for one, am of the opinion that BRICS is a better platform to sort of moot what the Russians are proposing to us. So a 0.5 megawatt reactor can definitely power a small research base, which can house, let's say, up to 10 to 12 astronauts at one single time. And it can ensure that whatever labs that you are raising on the moon, whatever commercial R&D that is going to happen from the moon is well powered, is well supplied with electricity coming from this reactor. And at the same time, all the life support systems that are needed to ensure good health of the astronomers and peak performance of these astronomers can be only achieved if a solid supply of power source is available on the moon. So this is not an outlandish proposal. This proposal is actually well in time, and maybe in the next 20 to 25 years, you will see a small nuclear reactor being raised on the moon. So I'll close with that, and I'm open to answer your question.
Chaitanya, hello, is Ambarish here?
Ambarish,
Hi.
yes.
Can you say something about tritium mining potential from China, from moon?
Tritium?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can there be reservoirs of tritium somewhere in the polar moon so that it can be a very good fusion fuel?
This has been on the minds of Indians that we want to mine certain isotopes on the moon, especially helium-3, and maybe if you could find deuterium-enriched water, which is actually heavy water. But extracting an ore from the moon and refining it itself is a very energy-intensive, power-intensive process. So the likelihood of garnering in situ fuel from the moon and using it there and then is still a long haul. So what I believe is, if a nuclear reactor is carried from Earth to the moon, it will be carried along with the nuclear fuel. And I am of the opinion that plutonium-238 will be the isotope of choice for it, because plutonium-238 has already been used in various spacecrafts. It has flown on many interplanetary spacecrafts, and everybody right now, especially all the big nuclear powers of the world, are ramping up plutonium-238 sources. So tritium and helium-3 are still a bit far-fetched. There are zones on the moon which are known as creeps. So creeps, as in KREEP, which contains potassium-enriched minerals. There are REE-enriched minerals, and P, which is phosphorus-enriched minerals. Now, in these creep, wherever there are large creep ores on the moon, we have also found large reserves of thorium there. So, including some 2 years ago, when the Chinese brought back lunar samples, they discovered a new mineral, and they named that mineral chungasite. Now, that mineral has thorium in it. So, what might fancy our interest more than helium-3 is most likely to be thorium, because thorium is the last of the 3 stages of our nuclear program. We are wanting to develop immense thorium capacities, and perhaps creating miniature reactors that would sort of derive their energy from thorium will be projects of choice than tritium, whose extraction, isolation, and purification is still far off process chemically.
So what I'm asking is SMR, so far we have not made. No, nobody has made so far, right?
Yeah, it not on a commercial scale, but you have SMRs available on TRL7, TRL8 right now. So it has not yet acquired that commercial readiness level, but maybe in the next 5-10 years.
So is there any attempt in doing on ground for some commercial uses? There is no attempt is made, huh?
Yeah. So I started my presentation saying that SMRs are right now of the town. Even PSUs like Indian Oil have shown great interest in having an SMR of their own. Again, there is a large market coming in from companies who have been classically greenhouse gas emitter. So especially companies that are in cement production or in oil and gas sector, they are wanting to have an SMR of their own, so that they can reduce their emissions and enjoy carbon credits by having that kind of an asset in their premises. So SMR are in demand right now, just that they haven't reached the commercial readiness level. So that commercial readiness level can be achieved in the next 5-10 years.
Because that only was my question. Suppose if it is there, then we could have made it for our regular apartments also. We can make it, no?
Yeah, we'll make it. So, very recently, I think around a year ago, Tata Group had joined hands with Niti Aayog to create a very detailed report on the prospects of SMR-based decarbonization. So this was written, I guess, last year.
Okay.
So that report exists on the internet. You can refer to that, and it will give you great insights on what kind of capabilities India is wanting to develop with SMR.
What could be the weight of the lunar-based reactor, the thing? Because now already ISRO is planning next generation satellite rockets. Therefore, it may fit in. Therefore, there could be some kind of a match between what lunar missions, nuclear reactors on the lunar surface, as well as whatever the ISRO is developing on the latest development for the next generation rockets.
Yes,
so there could be some matching possible.
It's a very important question, sir, because when you carry anything into outer space, the payload mass matters a lot. And by alluding to micro modular reactor and not SMR, what the Russians are saying that we can't take SMR into outer space, that is not feasible. But what we can do is easily take a micro modular reactor into space and maybe have it sent in one go, or maybe in 2-3 different launches, and get it assembled there. So we are talking about highly miniaturized. And there are two aspects of miniaturization, which is lessening of the dimensions and lessening of the mass, lowering of the mass. So perhaps we could have a nuclear reactor, a small micro modular reactor, which is say around less than a ton. So I can't pinpoint on the number right now, because nobody has really come up with a publicized mass of a micro modular reactor, but it is definitely less than a ton or half a ton. So if it is less than half a ton, maybe less than 500 kilograms, then easily your next generation launch vehicle, or what is called as now Surya, there is a name to it. So Surya can definitely launch it as one single payload and drop it into cislunar orbit, and then it can be descended onto the lunar surface. So I believe it should be roughly of the size of the mass of 500 to 1 ton, 500 kilograms to 1 ton, not more than that.